Hello, I'm James Gardner. I am a program manager at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, and I help run the ABPDU, which is what I'll be focusing on today, but we'll also touch on the integrated biorefinery research facility at the National Renewable Energy Lab. Scale up is a really important part of the process in terms of bringing new technologies to commercialization, obviously. So the Agile BioFoundry is very keen to add that to part of its capabilities that it brings to the community. So next. And go ahead and click next. So it's very clear that what happens in a microtiter plate is very different than what happens in a stirred tank, and so understanding the bridge between those two worlds is incredibly important. Uh, so much of the research that we conduct is performed in high throughput manners, and in alluding to the research that Hector was referencing earlier, part of what we have been conducting on behalf of the Agile BioFoundry and our external partners is understanding and predicting the performance of technologies at the stirred tank level by using high throughput data. So that requires very careful modeling. And this is just an example of how the ABPDU, which is the Advanced Biofuels and Bioproducts Process Development Unit at Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, has been working as a part of the Agile BioFoundry to support its external partners. Next slide. The ABPDU is a 15,000 square foot facility that has a wide variety of fermentation capabilities, as well as downstream and upstream of fermentation to support the kinds of things that are needed in order to commercialize a product. This is a peer into the fermentation suite. We cross 6 orders of magnitude from microtiter plate to 300 liter, and in doing so provide very important actionable information that feeds into life cycle modeling as well as techno-economic modeling, and provide a path for groups to move forward as they begin to court various manufacturing organizations that will help them go to scale. Next slide. As I mentioned, we'll also touch on the integrated biorefinery research facility, and for that, my colleague Jesse Colangelo will describe that a little bit down the road in this slide deck. So next slide. The ABPDU has worked with north of 85 companies over the last 13 or 14 years, and that reads like a who's who of both the startups in the industry as well as the various established household names that are contributing to the biomanufacturing space. So that crosses a wide variety of different types of products. And the ABPDU has a line of sight on something like 18 or 19 different projects or products that have hit the market and have contributed to the growth of the bioeconomy. Next slide. It certainly goes without saying that all of these groups that make up the Agile BioFoundry work with one another, as well as a wide variety of government collaborators and academic institutions. And so understanding how to help them mature technologies and mature their facilities is a key offering that groups like the ABPDU and others have for contributing to the community. Next slide. So in terms of the kinds of capabilities that are available at the ABPDU, as I mentioned, it crosses many logs, and that goes from microtiter plates themselves up through arrayed stirred tanks like what are available within the Amber 250 type system, 2-liter, 10-liter, up to 300-liter tanks, and that provides very actionable information. And we have seen on any number of occasions how our 300-liter data can scale reliably to tens of thousands of liters. In terms of chemistry, we offer a wide variety of other types of methodologies and modalities, including various types of stirred tanks for aggressive chemistries, such as what you're seeing on the sort of the right-hand side of the image. Different levels of pressure and steam injection and so on, as well as various tools for saccharification at 2-liter and 50-liter scales. So these are important for both the deconstruction work that we are involved in, as well as chemical upgrading of materials that come out of the fermentation tank. Next slide. Downstream unit operations are clearly a very important part of the cadre of capabilities that groups like ours can offer. That crosses a variety of different separation regimes, but for things that we don't necessarily have immediately available, we are able to work with various vendors to land skids of equipment on our site so that we can contribute to our collaborator success. So we have done that on any number of occasions for external collaborators, either in conjunction with our Agile BioFoundry projects or otherwise, and we're keen to continue that same pattern. Next slide. This is can be said of any of the national labs that make up the Agile BioFoundry consortium. It's very important to acknowledge that all of the things that you've been hearing today are in the context of the kinds of capabilities that national labs can only bring by virtue of the fact that they have a wide variety of analytical and other capabilities that may be important. And so it's important to kind of lay those out and make sure that the community understands the power that the national labs offer communities such as the biomanufacturing space. In the instance of Lawrence Berkeley National Lab and the kinds of projects that have taken place at the ABPDU, the Molecular Foundry and the Advanced Light Source are just two examples of the kinds of capabilities that can be leveraged beyond the four walls of the ABPDU itself. Next slide. Of course, all of this work happens because we have a dedicated and talented staff, and the same can be said of each and every one of the Agile BioFoundry partners. These are very hardworking and talented individuals that make up these teams, and it goes without saying that is the real secret sauce behind the Agile BioFoundry success. Next slide. And just a quick plug for the two groups, and I'll turn it over to Jesse.
So the IBRF has similar mission and capabilities to the ABPDU with some important distinguishing factors. This facility was more or less purpose-built for optimization of cellulosic ethanol production more than 2 decades ago. And when it was running at capacity, it was converting over a ton of biomass a day into ethanol. There was actually a picture in James's deck, which you can't see anymore, but it was also the cover slide for the slides that I had entered into that deck to capitalize, to add to that deck. That shows some of the pretreatment reactors and the enzymatic hydrolysis reactors, which may or may not be relevant to any of the folks on this call, but speaks to the integration of those processes with the bioconversion processes that almost certainly are interested to most of the folks on this call. All of that pretreatment and enzymatic hydrolysis equipment is still actively being used now to validate and evaluate a wider swath of different sustainable feedstocks and to prepare hydrolysate for bioconversion for different products. Let's see. I mean, the images help, but in the absence of having them at hand, I'll just speak a little bit to the bioreactor capabilities at the IBRF. One distinguishing factor is that our larger scale reactors are a little bit larger than what the ABPDU provides. The largest reactors at the IBRF are 9,000 liters. There's 4 of them, and they are plumbed directly into some of our smaller but still pilot scale reactors, such that you could move a seed train between those reactors. So I think the smallest reactor in the IBRF is 30 liters, and then there are 150 liter, 1,500 liter, and then our terminal size are 9,000 liter reactors. And those are probably the most common capability that folks who come to interact with the ABF about scaling are interested in knowing about in terms of ABF capabilities. You could go, maybe I'll just quickly call out, you can see those horizontal pretreaters on the upper platform there, and you can see the enzymatic hydrolysis reactors on the lower platform, or you could a moment ago, but these are the pilot scale and bench scale bioreactors that, again, are primary interest of folks interacting with the ABF on bioconversion processes. Similarly, there's a bunch of inline and offline analytical equipment capabilities available at the facility. Some of those things are called out there. Again, these slides will be provided, so I won't read them off to you, but some of them have to do with analytes and off-gassing, and others have to do with inline separation at different scales. And maybe I'll just take one more moment just to highlight the same point that James did. There's a lot of value to using this facility in addition just to the equipment that I'm listing and showing here, and largely that does come from the expertise of the personnel. There's a team of dedicated process engineers on site working full time at the IBRF who will help operate this equipment and also proactively troubleshoot what's going on with the bioprocess and bring their insights, often from working at commercial facilities, to optimization of bioprocesses within the IBRF. And then additionally, beyond that expertise, this facility sits at NREL, a national lab with 4,000 people who have domain expertise in biochemistry, molecular biology, bioprocess optimization, TEA and LCA. You heard from one of them earlier today, Bruno Klein, and all of those capabilities can be leveraged in what I think is a pretty unique way. Next slide, please. I won't spend very much time on this slide. It's already been presented twice by Chris and by Greg, but I'll just highlight that this work did take place at the IBRF using the 150 liter bioreactor. The last point that I want to make on this slide about the IBRF is that it is actively undergoing a revitalization that has initiated this year in response to industry feedback that we've gotten about needs which have evolved in the past 2 decades. Some of those needs are listed here in the top left, requests for greater modularity, greater finishing capabilities, improved hazardous material handling, improved feedstock handling. And in response to those, resources have been brought to the table by BITO and by the National Lab to improve and upgrade both the facilities and the equipment capabilities on site. Some of those that I think are specifically worth calling out are the facility being upgraded to handle flammable gases and solvents, having over temperature protection, and being able to work with BSL-2 organisms, which is a novel capability for the IBRF to date. Some of the equipment that's coming online includes being able to bring products all the way through final products, including fuels, bringing hydrogen electrolyzers on site, hydroprocessors on site, and large scale liquid extraction equipment. With this revitalization effort, there will be some downtime, so that will be a really important discussion point if you and your company are interested in leveraging this resource. There will not be a time when the entire facility is shut down, but in a modular fashion, different capabilities will come offline as equipment is moved around. If you're interested in learning more about specific pieces of equipment or operational specifications of them, please just reach out to me.